Hello everyone, and welcome back to Howling Hoosier Outdoors. Today I want to talk about my long distance / long-term first aid kit. So, disclaimer first off, this is not my I'm going out for a hike, I'm going to plan on reading in town and resupplying every 3 to 4 days type kit. This is more along the lines of I'm going out for a 2-week stint and I'm not going to have the option to resupply. I'm not going to have the option to call for help if anything weird happens. This is mostly a self-aid, self-rescue type kit, but this is also entirely for first aid, not my signaling kit, not my extraction stuff. That goes into a whole another kit, which is always on my person, such as a whistle, a signal mirror. That's always going to be on my person. This is just the first aid part. So let's get into this. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to look at is actually the case. This is not 100% waterproof, but it's good and water resistant. You can see all the dirt and stuff and how many adventures that it's been on. This has been with me. I think I got this probably 4 years ago, and I've just been supplementing things in and out as needed. So, getting right into it. Rolled Ace athletic bandage. For like rolling up my ankles and stuff like that if they ever get rolled. Gloves if in the event that I'm with someone else and they end up getting hurt. Some scissors. I've got cloth tape in here as well. This is just for cutting bandages, making my own band-aids if I needed to. And extra Swiss Army knife. This is actually a redundancy for the tweezers that I got in here. And then once again, it's also a redundancy for scissors. A good knife on there too. And something I'm also pretty superstitious about, I like having a Swiss Army knife with me if I ever get into a bad situation. I've simply never gotten into a bad situation with a Swiss Army knife and had everything not turn out okay. So these things are like a good luck charm for me. Alright, so moving on to topical relief and like my ointments. We got alcohol prep pads, a couple burn creams, some sting reliefs because wasps, ants, bees, they're all a pain in the neck out here. Trying to keep it all nice and pretty on the camera for you, but this angle on the stand and whatnot is going to be a pain later on, so it is what it is. Some Q-tips for wound cleaning, and then a nice stash of wound wipes. This is once again for cleaning out your wounds, making sure nothing gets infected and whatnot. Some triple antibiotic ointments, once again trying to avoid infection because that can be a game changer very quickly when you're out and about in the boonies. Rolled gauze bandage. This is for like wound packing and stuff like that, as well as like your basic first aid stuff. It doesn't need to be as dramatic as a wound packing, guys. Onto, this is an entire bag full of various medications. This is painkillers, antacids, Diamode for upset stomach, Claritin, name brand Claritin, name brand Zyrtec, allergy pills for like when your stuff gets runny, a couple electrolyte tablets, just kind of like a generic massive catch-all, because things happen. You start feeling sick, you start getting dehydrated, just things happen, so it's a good thing to have medications and stuff that can counteract that. Quick clots and bleed stops. This is good for, personally got some experience with these a couple times over. You just get a nice gash, you pour this on, you wrap it in a bandage, and that will help control severe bleeding relatively quickly. Alright, in here I keep a copy of a basic first aid manual just as refresher and reading material if you ever need it. Inside I also keep a copy of my CPR first aid AED certification through the Red Cross, just to avoid legal issues if in the event anything weird does end up happening. Instant aspirin. This is you pour this into a drink mix and then you end up drink it, and then it works the same way as an aspirin. Miscellaneous, I'm not going to take all these out, but these are all band-aids and a good supply of knuckle bandages. I have a nasty habit of cutting my knuckles up when I'm wood carving or whatnot. In here is kind of more of the hiker pouch, because I got my Katie tape, I got my moleskin, couple of various sizes of gauze pads and whatnot in order to create bandages and for blister and pain relief on that front. So yeah, that's, see if I can get that all on camera. That is my long distance, long-term health care kit. Again, this isn't my signaling kit, this isn't my hygiene kit, this is exclusively for first aid should I end up getting myself into a bad situation. Alright y'all, so that's everything. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, questionable life choices, or epiphanies, feel free to throw them in the box below. If you are a wilderness first aid responder, EMT, paramedic, anything of that nature with good real world experience that isn't just like myself where it's all self-aid because I'm always hurting myself, please, I'd love to see your guys' kits. Throw that in the comment below. If I'm missing anything, I'd love to hear it. One thing I will say real quick, get educated on how to use this stuff. Yeah, I'll link the Red Cross's EPR first aid certification site below, so that way you guys can work on that, because there's nothing worse than having a really good kit but not the knowledge of how to use it. And likewise, it's also really good to know how to improvise things should you need to. Oh, almost forgot. This is also a tourniquet. I have it. If in the event that I need it. I took a wilderness first aid course very recently, and they highly recommended that you get this. So going back to the whole education thing, I'm going to need to re-educate myself on how to properly apply these things. So maybe that'll be a future video. So once again, thank you all for watching. Stay awesome, folks.